The greatest secret of creation lies not in struggle, nor in desperate pursuit, but in a quiet, effortless surrender. Most believe that to attain their deepest desires they must chase, toil, and labor endlessly. They believe manifestation requires force, yet they fail to see the unseen law of life, relaxation. In relaxation, the mind becomes a fertile ground where all seeds of desire take root. The one who understands this principle ceases to wrestle with reality and instead steps into the effortless flow of creation, where dreams materialize as naturally as the rising of the sun. True manifestation does not come from anxious thoughts or restless striving, but from a deep inner knowing, a calm expectation that what is desired is already so. The power that brings all things into being does not respond to force, it responds to faith, to the stillness that knows beyond doubt. When you relax, you allow the unseen forces to move. When you relax, you step into the realm where all things are already done. But how does this work? Why does relaxation hold the key to everything you desire? There is a space between thoughts, a quiet realm where all creation begins. It is in this space that the formless takes form, where the unseen becomes seen, and where desires slip effortlessly from imagination into reality. Yet most people fill this space with worry, fear, and doubt, unaware that these are the very barriers keeping their desires from them. The moment you release tension, the moment you let go of frantic effort, you enter the sacred state where all things are possible. Consider the artist who paints with ease, the musician who plays without strain, the writer who lets words flow like a river. It is never in tension that mastery is found, but in a state of complete surrender to the process. The same law governs manifestation. The one who relaxes into the certainty of their wish fulfilled moves mountains without lifting a finger. The one who rests in the awareness that all things are already his finds doors opening where once there were walls. Most people do not trust the power of ease. They have been taught that struggle is noble, that effort is the key, that to manifest one's desires one must fight against the currents of life. But the universe is not moved by struggle. It is moved by belief. And belief is never found in tension. It is found in deep, quiet confidence. The ocean does not strive to reach the shore. The sun does not strain to rise in the morning, and the flower does not wrestle with the earth to bloom. Each follows the law of its nature, effortlessly unfolding into what it was always meant to be. Your desires are not things to be chased, but things to be accepted. They are not outside of you waiting to be seized, but within you waiting to be realized. And realization comes through relaxation. Imagine a man who desires wealth. He spends his days consumed with thoughts of lack, his nights filled with restless longing, his actions driven by fear that he may never have enough. He believes he is manifesting, but in truth he is pushing his desire further away. Why? Because he is living in the state of one who does not have. Now, picture another man. He has the same desire, but instead of striving, he relaxes into the knowing that wealth is already his. He sees himself as abundant, feels the reality of it within, and trusts that all will unfold as it should. He does not chase, he attracts. He does not force, he allows. And soon opportunities arise, ideas come, and circumstances shift to reflect his inner state. He has done nothing but assume the feeling of his wish fulfilled, and the world reshapes itself to match. This is the law at work. You do not manifest by fighting for what you want, but by becoming the one who already has it. And you cannot become that person through anxiety, through stress, through desperate longing. You become it through inner stillness, through deep relaxation, through the quiet conviction that all is already done. Think of a seed planted in the earth. Once it is placed in the soil, there is no need to dig it up each day to see if it has begun to sprout. The gardener does not fret, does not worry, does not beg the seed to grow. He trusts. He waters, he waits, and he allows nature to take its course. The same is true for your desires. Once you have imagined them, once you have felt them real, your only task is to rest in the certainty that they are on their way. But what does it mean to truly relax? It is not the passivity of indifference, nor is it the stagnation of inaction. To relax is to dwell in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It is to walk as though your desires are already a reality, to think and speak from the perspective of one who possesses all they have asked for. It is to let go of the how and trust in the unseen hand that moves all things into perfect place. Doubt is the only thing that delays manifestation, and doubt is born from a mind that cannot be still, a mind that questions, that fears, that demands proof before belief. But proof does not come before belief. Belief is the force that calls proof into existence. The moment you relax into your vision, the moment you accept it as true without needing to see it first, the wheels of creation begin to turn. There is no exception to this law. The one who relaxes will always receive. The one who trusts will always see evidence unfold. It does not matter how grand the desire, how distant it may seem, how impossible it may appear. The universe does not measure difficulty. It only responds to states of being. And the state of being that calls forth all things is one of ease, one of peace, one of unwavering trust. Have you ever noticed that the things you manifest effortlessly are the ones you care the least about? The small desires that seem insignificant come with no struggle because there is no resistance, no tension, no questioning. You think of them lightly and they appear as if by magic. But the moment you place great importance on something, the moment you begin to obsess over it, fear losing it, and wonder when it will come, you create a barrier that keeps it at bay. This is why relaxation is the master key. It removes resistance, dissolves doubt, and opens the door for all that you seek. It is not your effort that brings things to you. It is your ability to rest in the knowing that they are already yours. If you could simply let go of worry, if you could cease all mental struggle and surrender to the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you would be astonished at how swiftly life rearranges itself in your favor. The answers you seek would come, the opportunities you long for would present themselves, and the people, circumstances, and resources required for your manifestation would align effortlessly. You have spent too long believing in difficulty. You have been conditioned to think that only through struggle can great things be achieved. But the greatest secret has always been this: relax, and you will manifest anything you desire. The nature of reality is far simpler than you have been led to believe. You have been conditioned to see life as a series of challenges, to believe that only through tireless effort and ceaseless labor can anything be attained. But all around you, there is evidence that the greatest things in life emerge not through struggle, but through a natural unfolding. Look at the trees. They do not force themselves to grow. They simply absorb the nourishment given to them and expand in due time. The rivers do not battle against their path. They simply flow. And in that effortless flow, they carve canyons and shape landscapes. The same principle applies to the manifestation of your desires. The more you struggle, the more resistance you create. The more you allow, the more life conforms to your vision. There is nothing unnatural about the process of manifestation. It is not something reserved for the few, not a mysterious power possessed by the enlightened alone. It is as natural as breathing, as constant as the beating of your heart. But just as one can disrupt the rhythm of breath by overthinking, just as one can disturb the stillness of water by frantic movement, so too can the natural unfolding of your desires be hindered by your own restless mind. The more you grasp at what you want, the more it eludes you. The more you relax, the more effortlessly it comes. Consider a person who desires love. They long for a relationship, for companionship, for the deep connection of another soul. But instead of resting in the certainty that love is theirs, they worry. They fear being alone. They analyze every interaction. They question whether they are worthy. In doing so, they send out a signal of lack, a message to the unseen forces that they do not yet possess what they seek. Their anxiety keeps love at a distance, not because love is unavailable, but because they have not allowed themselves to become the person who already has it. Love does not come to the desperate. It is drawn to the fulfilled. The one who is at peace with themselves, who feels the joy of love within before it appears without, is the one to whom love effortlessly gravitates. The same is true of wealth. Many desire financial abundance, yet they live in a constant state of lack. They check their bank accounts with anxiety, they worry about expenses, they chase money with the fear that it may slip away. And in doing so, they affirm their own poverty. They are not living in the state of wealth, they are living in the state of lack. But wealth is not a thing to be chased, it is a state to be assumed. The moment one relaxes into the feeling of abundance, the moment they see themselves as already possessing what they desire, their external world reshapes itself to reflect that inner truth. There is an unseen intelligence that governs all things, a force that responds not to effort but to certainty. This is why children manifest so effortlessly. They do not question, they do not doubt, they do not overanalyze. When a child imagines themselves as a hero, as an adventurer, as anything at all, they believe it completely. They do not concern themselves with how it will happen. They simply know it to be so in their hearts. And because they have not yet been taught to fear, to doubt, to struggle, their desires often come with ease. They have not yet learned to stand in their own way. You have spent years building barriers against your own power. You have been taught that life is difficult, that only through struggle can you achieve, that your desires are distant and must be pursued with relentless effort. But none of this is true. Your desires are already yours, already present in the unseen realm, waiting only for your acceptance. The only thing keeping them from you is your own unwillingness to let go, to trust, to relax into the knowing that they are already done. Think of the moments in your life when things have flowed effortlessly, when opportunities arose without struggle, when answers came without force. These were the moments when you were in alignment, when you were not grasping, when you were simply being. Perhaps it was a time when you were fully immersed in joy, when you were so at peace that everything you desired seemed to come to you without effort. This was no accident. It was a glimpse into the natural state of manifestation, the state in which all things come easily, because there is no resistance, no fear, no doubt to block the flow. The key is to live in that state always, to remain in a place of deep inner calm, where you do not need to see physical proof before you believe. The moment you require evidence, you are placing your faith in the external world, instead of in the creative power within you. But creation does not work from the outside in, it works from the inside out. What you accept as true in your inner world will always be reflected in the outer. You do not need to force yourself to believe. You do not need to struggle to convince yourself of your desires. You only need to relax, to let go of the mental tension that keeps them at bay. How do you feel when you know something is certain? There is no stress, no worry, no questioning. There is only ease. This is the state you must cultivate, the state of knowing that what you desire is already yours. Some may say, but I have tried to believe. I have tried to relax, and yet my desires have not come. And to this the answer is simple. You have not truly let go. You have not fully stepped into the feeling of having. You are still waiting for the world to show you proof before you accept it as real. But the world does not show you proof first. You must assume it before you see it. You must embody the feeling of already having. And when you do, reality has no choice but to align with that assumption. Imagine for a moment that your desire has already been fulfilled. How would you feel? How would you think, act, and move through life if you already had what you long for? Would you be anxious? Would you be desperate? Or would you be at peace, knowing that all is well? That is the state you must live in, not just for a fleeting moment, but consistently, effortlessly. And you can only do this by relaxing, by surrendering all need to control, by trusting that the unseen is just as real as the seen. Nothing is withheld from you except what you refuse to claim. The universe is not keeping your desires from you, it is waiting for you to accept them. And acceptance does not come through struggle, through forcing yourself to believe, through grasping at every technique and method. Acceptance comes through stillness, through inner peace, through the quiet certainty that what you seek is already yours. You may wonder, how long must I wait? How long must I remain in this state before my desires appear? But the question itself reveals doubt, and doubt is the very thing that delays. The one who is truly relaxed does not ask when, does not concern themselves with time. They know it is already done, and in that knowing time becomes irrelevant. If you could only understand how effortlessly life is meant to flow, you would never again allow yourself to fall into struggle. You would never again entertain thoughts of lack, of doubt, of fear. You would walk through life with the ease of one who knows that all things are already his, and in that ease you would find the world reshaping itself to reflect your certainty. You have spent enough time fighting against the current. You have spent enough time believing in difficulty, in struggle, in limitation. But now you are being called to remember the truth, that all you desire is already yours, that you do not need to chase, that you do not need to force, that you only need to relax, and in that relaxation, all things will come to you effortlessly. The moment you truly understand this, everything in your life will change. You will no longer live in a state of waiting, no longer measure time by how long it takes for things to appear. You will no longer wonder whether your desires will manifest, because you will know with absolute certainty that they already exist in the unseen and are only waiting for the right moment to be revealed. This is the greatest freedom, to walk through life unbothered by circumstances, untouched by delays, unmoved by appearances. The one who masters this state moves through the world with an effortless grace, for they know that nothing is missing, nothing is lacking, and all things are unfolding in divine perfection. Think of the air you breathe. You do not question whether there will be enough air for you. You do not wake up each morning in fear that you may run out of breath. You trust without effort that the air is always available. You inhale and exhale without thinking, without forcing, without worrying about how it happens. And because you do not resist, your breathing remains natural, easy, uninterrupted. But imagine if you began to doubt the air, if you started to worry that your next breath may not come. What would happen? You would struggle, you would gasp, you would feel as though you were suffocating, even though the air is still there. The struggle would not come from the air disappearing, but from your own resistance. This is how most people approach manifestation. They do not trust that their desires are already present. They do not allow themselves to breathe easily in the knowledge that what they seek is already theirs. Instead, they worry, they grasp, they doubt, and in doing so they create resistance. The struggle they feel is not because their desires are far away. It is because they are suffocating themselves with their own disbelief. But the moment they relax, the moment they release all doubt, they find that what they longed for was always within reach. It has never been about effort. It has always been about alignment. The one who understands this stops chasing, stops trying, stops exhausting themselves with endless methods and techniques. They simply step into the state of already having, and in that state they become magnetic. Everything they once pursued now pursues them. Everything they once struggled to attain now arrives with ease. They do not have to force doors open. Doors open before them because they are walking in the assumption that they belong there. You have been taught to believe in effort, in hard work, in the idea that success and fulfillment require sacrifice. But those who manifest with ease do not live by these principles. They live by faith, by inner knowing, by the deep, quiet certainty that the world must conform to their assumptions. And it always does. It always has. The only thing that has ever delayed your desires is your own disbelief, your own unwillingness to accept what is already yours. The person who desires health but constantly worries about illness affirms sickness, not wellness. The one who desires wealth but feels anxious about money affirms lack, not abundance. The one who longs for love but fears rejection affirms loneliness, not connection. This is the great paradox. What you focus on with doubt and fear you push away, but what you accept as already true without resistance comes effortlessly. You do not need to control the external world. You do not need to manipulate circumstances, convince others, or force things to happen. Your only work is to align internally, to enter the state of already having, and to rest in that state with complete faith. The world will take care of the rest. There is no need to concern yourself with how your desires will come. The mind, conditioned by the limitations of logic, always wants to know the steps, the methods, the precise chain of events that will lead to fulfillment. But manifestation does not work through logic, it works through alignment. The moment you assume that what you seek is already yours, reality begins rearranging itself in ways beyond your comprehension. People, opportunities, and circumstances shift in ways that seem miraculous. yet they are only the natural response to your state of being. Think back to times when things have fallen into place without effort, when solutions appeared seemingly out of nowhere, when the right people arrived at the right time. These moments were not coincidences. They were glimpses of how reality always works when you are in alignment. When you are relaxed, when you are at peace, when you are certain, life flows in your favor. But the moment you introduce doubt, the moment you begin to question whether things will work out, you disrupt the flow and create unnecessary struggle. What would happen if you decided right now that everything you desire is already yours? What if you no longer worried, no longer questioned, no longer felt the need to force anything? What if you walked through life with the quiet confidence of one who already possesses all they have ever wanted? The answer is simple. Your world would transform. Not in the distant future, not in some far-off time, but now. Because reality is always a reflection of your state of being. The moment you shift internally, everything around you must shift to match. But most people do not trust this. They look at their circumstances and allow what they see to dictate what they believe. They wait for proof before they feel secure, not realizing that proof only appears after belief is established. The ones who manifest effortlessly are those who do not need to see first. They believe first, and because they believe, they see. You may say, but I have tried to believe, I have tried to feel as though my desires are already mine, but nothing has changed. And if this is the case, it is only because you have not truly let go. Somewhere within you are still doubting, still questioning, still waiting for evidence before you fully accept. But the moment you truly surrender, the moment you relax so deeply into the knowing that you no longer care when or how your desire appears, that is the moment it begins to materialize. This is why some people manifest the things they no longer care about. Have you ever noticed that the desires you hold most lightly, the ones you do not obsess over, come with ease? This is because there is no resistance, no mental struggle, no energetic blockage. You simply think of them, accept them, and forget about them, and soon they appear. But the things you want the most, the things you worry about, the things you constantly check for, these are the things that take the longest, not because they are difficult to manifest, but because your own doubt keeps them away. What if for just one day you decided to live as though everything you desire is already yours? What if instead of waiting for things to change before you feel peace, you chose to feel peace first? What if you no longer allowed circumstances to dictate your state, but instead allowed your state to dictate circumstances? If you did this, you would see that life is not happening to you, it is responding to you. You do not need to do more. You do not need to strive harder. You do not need to fight against reality. You only need to relax into the knowing that everything is already done. The doors you once thought were closed will open without effort. The opportunities you once chased will find their way to you. The love, the wealth, the success, the happiness you once believed were distant will become your reality. Not because you forced them into existence, but because you finally allowed them to be. The moment you stop trying, the moment you stop grasping, the moment you stop worrying, everything you have ever wanted will come rushing toward you. Because it was never about chasing, it was always about receiving. It was never about effort, it was always about belief. It was never about forcing, it was always about allowing. And the key to allowing is simple. Relax, let go, trust. And in that effortless state, watch as the universe moves in ways beyond your imagination to bring you everything you have ever desired. The nature of creation has always been effortless. The stars did not struggle to shine, the sun did not force itself to rise, and the rivers did not labor to carve their paths. Everything in existence moves with a natural flow, an ease that allows life to unfold perfectly. Yet, somewhere along the way, humanity was taught that effort and struggle are the only means to attain anything. This is the great illusion, the false belief that keeps so many trapped in cycles of disappointment and frustration. Look at the moments when you have received exactly what you wanted without struggle. Think of the times when the perfect opportunity arrived unexpectedly, when someone gave you exactly what you needed without you even asking, when a problem you once worried over resolved itself without your interference. These moments were not accidents. They were glimpses into how life is meant to be. But instead of trusting that this is the natural way of things, Most people convince themselves that these experiences were rare exceptions rather than the rule. What if the effortless manifestation of your desires was not an anomaly but a constant? What if, instead of viewing success, wealth, love, and happiness as things you must tirelessly pursue, you saw them as things that are already seeking you? The only reason they seem distant is because you have placed yourself in a state of resistance. The moment you release that resistance, the moment you surrender your doubts and fears, the things you have been chasing will begin to chase you. There is no struggle in receiving, only in resisting. Imagine for a moment that you are standing in a river, trying to walk against the current. Every step is difficult, every movement exhausting, and no matter how hard you push forward, the force of the water pushes back against you. This is how most people live their lives, constantly battling, constantly striving, constantly exhausting themselves in an attempt to control outcomes. But now imagine what would happen if you simply stopped resisting and allowed yourself to flow with the current. Instead of fighting, you would be carried effortlessly to exactly where you need to be. This is the state of allowing, the state where manifestation becomes effortless. The reason some people seem to attract everything they desire with ease is not because they are lucky, nor because they possess some secret knowledge that others do not. It is because they have mastered the art of surrender. They do not fight against reality. They shape it from within by aligning themselves with the feeling of already having what they desire. The ones who struggle the most are often those who believe they must see proof before they can believe. But manifestation does not work this way. The external world does not shape your inner world. Your inner world shapes the external. If you need evidence before you can believe in something, you are placing power outside of yourself, and in doing so you are making yourself a slave to circumstances. The true creator does not wait for proof. They believe first, and because they believe, proof appears. Many will hear these words and say, "But I have believed, I have tried, I have done everything I can to convince myself that my desires are already mine, but nothing has changed." And the truth is they have not truly let go. Somewhere in their mind they are still waiting, still checking for signs, still wondering when it will happen. This is not true belief. This is hoping, wishing, and waiting. True belief has no urgency, no need to check, no fear of delay. It rests in the certainty that what is desired is already done. Think of a time when you ordered something online. You placed the order, received confirmation, and then went about your day without worry. You did not call the company every hour to ask if your package was on its way. You did not doubt whether it would arrive. You simply expected it. And because you expected it, you acted accordingly. You did not question whether the process would work, you trusted it. This is the same level of certainty you must bring to the manifestation of your desires. You must know without a shadow of a doubt that what you seek is already coming to you. But most people do not treat their desires this way. They place an order with the universe, but instead of trusting that it will arrive, they doubt, they worry, they try to interfere with the process. They ask, why hasn't it come yet? What if it doesn't work? What if I did something wrong? And in doing so, they cancel their own requests, sending out mixed signals that keep their desires in a state of uncertainty. The moment you stop questioning, the moment you stop checking, the moment you stop needing evidence before you believe, you unlock the flow that allows everything to come effortlessly. But this requires a deep level of relaxation, a trust so profound that you no longer even concern yourself with when or how your desires will appear. You simply live as though they are already yours. This is why some people manifest their desires effortlessly while others struggle. It is not because some are more deserving than others, nor because some are more capable. It is because those who manifest with ease do not resist. They do not stand in their own way with doubt, fear, or anxiety. They assume the feeling of already having, and because they assume it, reality conforms to match their inner state. There is a reason why desperation repels and confidence attracts. The person who is desperate for love chases it, worries about it, overthinks every interaction, and in doing so they send out a signal of lack. But the one who knows they are already loved, who does not seek validation, who moves through the world with the quiet confidence of someone who knows they are deeply desired, this is the one who effortlessly draws love into their life. The same principle applies to wealth. The one who constantly worries about money, who checks their bank account in fear, who stresses over every expense, affirms their own lack. But the one who feels wealthy, who moves through life as though abundance is already theirs, who does not allow their sense of security to be dictated by numbers, this is the one who attracts financial prosperity without effort. Most people believe that they must take action to manifest their desires. But action is only effective when it comes from a place of certainty. The person who takes action from a state of fear, of lack, of worry, only reinforces those states. But the one who acts from a place of already having, who moves through life with the inner knowing that all things are working in their favor, this is the one whose actions produce effortless results. You do not need to do more. You do not need to try harder. You do not need to force anything. You only need to align your inner world with the feeling of already having, and everything else will take care of itself. The more you relax into this truth, the more you will see evidence of it everywhere. The world you experience is not separate from you. It is a reflection of you. If you do not like what you see, do not try to change the reflection. Change the source. Change your inner state, and the world must conform. The moment you relax, the moment you surrender all doubt, the moment you trust so deeply that you no longer even question, everything will begin to shift. And when it does, you will look back and wonder why you ever doubted, why you ever struggled, why you ever believed that life was anything but effortless. You will see that the universe was never against you, that your desires were never far away, that everything you ever wanted was always within reach. The only thing that kept it from you was your own resistance. But now you know better. Now you see the truth. Now you understand that everything is already yours. There is nothing left to force, nothing left to chase, nothing left to struggle over. There is only one thing left to do. Relax, let go, and allow everything to unfold exactly as it was always meant to. The moment you step into this understanding, you will begin to see the invisible forces that have always been at work in your life. You will recognize that every moment of struggle was never because your desires were beyond reach, but because you were holding them at bay with your own resistance. There is no such thing as a distant dream, no such thing as an impossible goal. There is only alignment or misalignment, resistance or allowing. The one who truly knows this moves through life differently. They no longer react to circumstances, they create them. They no longer beg for what they want, they assume it is already theirs. The entire world is a mirror, reflecting back to you the state in which you reside. If you see lack, it is only because you are carrying lack within you. If you experience rejection, it is only because somewhere inside you believe you are not fully worthy. If doors seem closed, it is not because they are locked. It is because you have not yet assumed that you already belong on the other side. The moment you change internally, the external must follow. It has no choice. The world is bound by this law, and it operates with absolute precision. Many people hear these truths and immediately try to force their minds into belief. But belief cannot be forced. You cannot trick yourself into alignment through effort. You can only relax into it. This is why so many struggle with manifestation. They turn it into another task, another thing to achieve, another problem to solve. But it was never meant to be difficult. You do not struggle to breathe. You do not fight to digest food. You do not force your heart to beat. It all happens naturally. The same is true for manifestation. It is as natural as the rising of the sun, as effortless as the seasons changing. The only thing that makes it seem difficult is the resistance you introduce by believing it must be hard. There are those who try every method, who repeat affirmations obsessively, who visualize with a sense of desperation, who constantly check their progress as if their desires are uncertain. These individuals do not realize that they are acting from a place of lack. Every forced effort, every anxious thought, every attempt to speed up the process only serves to push their desires further away. The universe responds to your dominant state, not to the words you say or the techniques you use. If beneath your affirmations you are still in doubt, it is doubt that will manifest. If behind your visualizations you are still fearful, it is fear that will shape your reality. True manifestation requires no techniques, no tricks, no rituals. It requires only one thing, the deep, unwavering assumption that what you desire is already yours. Not in the future, not someday, but now. The one who lives in this state does not ask, does not chase, does not beg. They know, and because they know, they receive. Imagine for a moment that you had the ability to see into the future, and you saw that everything you wanted was guaranteed to happen. How differently would you live? You would not stress over timelines. You would not worry about obstacles. You would not doubt for a single moment. You would simply move through life with a quiet confidence, knowing that all things were unfolding exactly as they should. This is the state you must assume now before any evidence appears, because it is this assumption that causes the evidence to appear. People often ask, but what if my reality contradicts my desire? What if things look the opposite of what I want? And the answer is simple. Stop giving so much power to what you see. The world you perceive is nothing but a reflection of your past assumptions. If you continue to react to it, you will only perpetuate the same cycle. But if you choose to withdraw your attention from appearances and remain steadfast in the assumption of your desired reality, the world will have no choice but to shift in accordance with your new state. This is why patience is effortless for the one who understands these principles. They do not need to rush, they do not need to force, they do not need to demand. They know that time is irrelevant because the moment they assume something to be true, reality begins moving to make it so. And if there is a delay, they do not panic because they understand that delays are illusions. There is only unfolding, only perfect orchestration, only the divine arrangement of events leading to their inevitable fulfillment. There are those who believe that they must work hard to deserve what they want, that they must prove themselves, that they must struggle to earn their desires. But the universe does not operate on merit. It operates on assumption. It does not reward those who try the hardest. It rewards those who believe the deepest. The one who effortlessly assumes wealth will always surpass the one who works tirelessly but believes in scarcity. The one who assumes love will always find it, while the one who fears loneliness will always reinforce that state. The one who believes in their own success will rise to greatness, while the one who doubts themselves will always find obstacles in their path. It is not about working harder, it is about shifting your state. The one who understands this plays the game of life differently. They do not wait for circumstances to change before they feel happy, abundant, or loved. They feel happy, abundant, and loved first, and then circumstances change to reflect that state. They do not seek validation from others because they validate themselves. They do not fear failure because they have already assumed success. They do not chase opportunities because opportunities are magnetically drawn to them. The greatest secret is that you have always had this power. It has never been outside of you. The only reason you have not experienced all that you desire is because you have been placing your faith in doubt rather than in certainty. You have been assuming lack rather than fulfillment. You have been looking to the external world to confirm your beliefs instead of shaping the external world through your beliefs. Once you see this clearly, you will never again approach life the way you once did. You will no longer seek because you will know that all things are already within you. You will no longer force because you will understand that ease is the true path to fulfillment. You will no longer fear because you will see that nothing is ever truly lost. Nothing is ever truly denied. Nothing is ever beyond reach. And as you relax into this knowing, as you let go of all resistance, as you move through life with the quiet certainty that all is well, you will witness the world around you begin to shift. The opportunities you once struggled for will present themselves effortlessly. The relationships you once longed for will come naturally. The abundance you once chased will flow to you freely. Not because you forced it, not because you proved yourself, but because you finally allowed it to be. This is the way it has always worked. This is the truth that has been hidden in plain sight. The moment you embrace it, the moment you stop trying to make things happen and instead allow them to unfold, the moment you rest in the deep knowing that what you desire is already yours, your entire world will transform before your very eyes. When you finally let go of struggle, when you stop resisting the flow of life, you will see that everything you have ever wanted was never far from you. It was only waiting for you to relax, to trust, to align with the certainty that it is already yours. Manifestation is not about force, it is about allowing. It is not about effort, it is about belief. The moment you stop chasing and start assuming, the world will shape itself to match your inner state. Nothing is beyond your reach, nothing is ever truly withheld. Only your own resistance keeps it away. But now you know better. Now you see that all is already done. All is already yours. So rest in this knowing. Let go of doubt. Embrace the ease of creation and watch as your reality transforms in ways you once thought impossible. Relax and allow it all to come.
How many times have you visualized something you deeply desired, only to find it slipping away from your grasp? Have you ever asked yourself why some people seem to effortlessly manifest their desires, while others struggle? The answer lies not in the world outside of you, but in your own inner world. Let me ask you, what if you could achieve anything you desire in the blink of an eye, in only 3 days, by simply changing the way you think? Imagine that. Your life transforming with a simple yet profound shift in consciousness. Does it sound too good to be true? Well, let me tell you, it isn't. It is a law of the universe that you have yet to master. And I am here to show you how to use that law to bend reality to your will in only 3 days. Today I will reveal a belief system that guarantees your desires will manifest within 3 days. Simply by applying this one truth, what you vividly imagine and believe, you will receive. You may have heard this before, but if you truly understand the power behind it, you will begin to see your life change before your very eyes. Are you ready to learn the key to transforming your reality in just 3 days? The mind is a powerful tool, capable of shaping the very fabric of reality. Too often people see their minds as something passive, something that merely reacts to the world around them. But the truth is, your mind is not passive. It is a creative force, a field of infinite potential. In fact, your imagination is the most potent faculty you possess. It is through the act of imagination that you create the world you experience. If you wish to change anything in your life, you must first change your imagination. What you vividly imagine and feel becomes your reality. Not because the world forces it upon you, but because you, through the power of your imagination, compel the world to reflect it back to you. When you truly understand the power of your imagination, you realize that everything you experience in life is a product of your inner thoughts. Your mind doesn't simply respond to external stimuli. It shapes your reality based on the images, emotions, and beliefs you hold within. The world you see around you is a direct mirror of the images you hold in your subconscious. Every experience you have, every person you encounter, every situation you face has been created in your mind first. This is the starting point of all transformation. To harness the full power of your imagination, you must recognize that it is not enough to just visualize something and hope it will happen. Imagination is not a passive process, nor is it an idle daydream. Imagination is an active, conscious act of creation. When you imagine something, you must immerse yourself in it completely, experiencing it as though it is real in the present moment. You must bring all of your senses into the experience. Feel it, see it, hear it, and taste it, whatever it is that you are imagining. The more vivid and real the image in your mind, the more powerful the creation. The mind does not differentiate between what is real and what is vividly imagined. As far as your subconscious mind is concerned, the moment you imagine something with clarity and emotion, it is as real as any physical event. Many people wonder why their visualizations don't manifest. The answer often lies in their level of engagement with the process. Too often people simply wish for things, thinking that a fleeting thought will bring about change. But desire without a clear, focused imagination is like planting seeds in barren soil. You must feed your imagination with the rich, fertile soil of belief and emotion. Without this, your mental images will lack the energy necessary to bring them into manifestation. Your imagination needs to be nurtured with belief and supported by the emotion of certainty. Only then will the seed you plant in your mind begin to grow and bear fruit in the physical world. Think of your imagination as a sculptor. Just as a sculptor shapes clay with their hands, so too can you shape your reality with the images you hold in your mind. But this is not a passive process. The sculptor does not wait for the clay to shape itself, they actively mold it with intention and focus until it takes the form they desire. In the same way, you must actively and consciously direct your imagination, focusing on the specific outcome you wish to see. You must feel as though it is already happening, right now. The moment you begin to feel the reality of your desire, you unlock the power of creation. The most important part of this creative process is not the image itself, but the feeling that accompanies it. Imagine for a moment that you are visualizing a new job, a new relationship, or a financial breakthrough. If you only picture the outcome in your mind but fail to feel the emotion that would accompany it, joy, relief, gratitude, excitement, then your visualization will lack the necessary energy to bring it into being. It is the emotion, the feeling of having already received your desire, that activates the creative power within your mind. It is through this feeling that the mental image becomes infused with life. To demonstrate this, consider the example of an actor preparing for a role. They spend hours, days, or even months visualizing themselves in the character, imagining every detail, every nuance of the role. They do not merely think about the character, they live in it. They experience the emotions, the thoughts, the gestures as though they are already the character. In this process, the actor becomes the character. Likewise, when you use your imagination to create a new reality, you must do so with the same intensity. You must live in the imagined experience, embody it completely, and allow it to move through you. In this way, your imagination becomes the mold through which your physical reality takes form. The power of imagination is limitless, and when you begin to understand its true potential, you can shape your world as easily as an artist shapes their canvas. Everything begins in the mind. There is no external force that can alter the course of your life unless you allow it to. You are the master of your fate, the creator of your experiences. The key to mastering your life is mastering your imagination. By consciously choosing the images you entertain, and by fully engaging with them through belief and feeling, you begin to mold your life in the image of your desires. Your imagination is not a distant or abstract concept. It is your life's blueprint, the code from which all things emerge. Every time you imagine a possibility, you are setting the stage for its manifestation. The world around you is not separate from you. It is a reflection of your inner state. If you can learn to harness the power of your imagination and create with focused intent, you will discover that the world conforms to your will. So how do you begin? Start with a clear vision, a specific desire, and immerse yourself fully in it. Imagine it as real. Live in that reality. Feel it as though it is happening right now, and allow that feeling to grow and intensify. Your imagination is a dynamic force, and when you use it consciously, you unlock the door to infinite possibilities. The life you have dreamed of is not some far-off future. It is already within you, waiting to be realized. The key is to realize that the power to create it is within your own mind, and it begins the moment you choose to use it. When you desire something, the most important step is to assume the feeling of that desire being fulfilled. This is not simply about thinking about your wish or imagining it occasionally. It is about living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled with such intensity that it becomes a part of your very being. If you want something to manifest in your life, you must first live as though it is already yours. This is the key to bringing your desires into reality. And yet, most people make the mistake of waiting for the external world to reflect their desire before they believe it is possible. But you must reverse this process before the external world shows you anything. You must first feel as though your desire is already a reality. This is where the power lies, in the assumption that your desire has already been fulfilled. The moment you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you begin to align your inner world with the outer reality you wish to create. When you live in the feeling of your desire already being realized, you are sending a powerful message to your subconscious mind, instructing it to bring forth the conditions, people, and events that will match the image and feeling you are holding in your mind. This process is not something that takes time to develop. It is a shift in consciousness that happens immediately. The key is not to wait for the evidence of the world to validate your belief, but to believe it with such certainty that the world has no choice but to conform to it. Imagine for a moment that you have a deeply desired goal. Perhaps it is a new job, a romantic relationship, or financial freedom. The most natural thing for most people to do is to look around at the physical evidence and think, well, I don't have it yet. It isn't here. They might even wonder when or how it will come. But this is exactly the wrong approach. You cannot wait for external evidence to decide whether or not your desire is valid. You must choose to feel as though it is already yours, to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and live from that assumption. The moment you do this, you initiate a process that begins to shift everything around you. This concept is often misunderstood because people confuse it with merely hoping or wishing for something. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is not passive, it is active and alive. It requires you to fully immerse yourself in the experience of your desire as though it is already present. You must live from the end, not from the beginning. For example, if your wish is to own a house, don't focus on the fact that you don't have it yet. Instead, feel the sense of pride, peace, and excitement you would feel if you already owned the house. Imagine yourself in that home, walking through the rooms, feeling the joy and satisfaction that would accompany owning such a space. Feel that ownership, that peace, and let it fill you entirely. This is the feeling of the wish fulfilled. When you live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are no longer waiting for something to happen, you are acting as though it has already happened. This is a radical shift in consciousness, and it is the essence of how creation works. It is not about forcing outcomes or manipulating circumstances. It is about aligning yourself with the vibrational frequency of the life you want to live. Every feeling you have sends a signal to the universe, instructing it to bring you the circumstances that match your inner state. When you feel as though your wish has already been realized, you are sending out a signal that causes the world around you to reflect that feeling back to you. It is important to understand that the assumption of the wish fulfilled must be persistent. It is not a one-time act, but a continuous way of being. Every moment you are holding the assumption that your desire is already a reality, you are molding the conditions of your life to align with that assumption. This is not something that happens passively. It requires you to actively engage with your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs in a consistent way. When you persist in the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled, no external evidence will shake your belief. The world may seem to resist at first, but you must remain steadfast. The moment you waver or doubt, you release the energy that is shaping your reality. This is why persistence in maintaining the feeling of the wish fulfilled is so crucial. There are no exceptions to this law. If you assume that you already have what you desire, the world will rearrange itself to bring you what you have assumed. This is not a mystical process, it is a natural law. Your inner world always shapes your outer reality. And when you align your inner state with the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you set the law of attraction into motion. You do not need to know the how or the when. All that matters is that you live from the end result, feeling as though it is already accomplished. This process of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled is not just about thinking or imagining it, it's about experiencing the emotion, the state of being as though it is already happening. If you wish for success, feel the pride and satisfaction of your success now. If you desire love, feel the love and connection as if it is already present. If you want health, feel the vitality and well-being in every cell of your body as though it is already a reality. It is the feeling that gives the power to the imagination. It is the emotion that breathes life into your desires and turns them into tangible experiences. Over time, the more consistently you practice this feeling of the wish fulfilled, the more natural it will become. It will no longer feel like an effort or an exercise. It will become the natural state from which you live. And when you live from that state, your desires will effortlessly manifest. The world will reflect the assumption you have made, and you will witness your desires becoming your reality in ways you could never have predicted. The universe has a way of rearranging itself to match the state of mind you hold. Your job is to live in the feeling of that state, knowing that it must unfold in your experience. This is the true power of assumption, the power to live as though your desires are already fulfilled, to embody the feeling of that fulfillment, and to watch as the world bends to meet your inner vision. Belief is the foundation upon which all manifestation is built. It is the unseen force that shapes reality. You may have heard the phrase, "Believe and you shall receive," but let me take a moment to explore the depth of this statement. It is not simply about wishful thinking or hoping that something will come to pass. Belief is a powerful active force that brings the imagined into the tangible. It is the belief in the unseen, the assumption that what you desire is already yours, which enables your desires to manifest. Your belief is the key that unlocks the door to your desires. When you truly believe something is possible, when you fully accept the idea that it is already happening, you align your inner world with the external reality that you wish to create. The universe responds to the energy of belief. It is as though the moment you believe in something, you set into motion a series of events that work to bring that belief into your physical experience. The law of attraction is not just a vague idea, it is the direct result of the belief you hold. When you believe with certainty, you create an unshakable foundation upon which your desires can take form. The power of belief lies in the fact that it influences your perception of reality. Your beliefs determine what you expect to happen, and your expectations shape the events and circumstances you encounter. If you believe that something is possible, you will naturally act in ways that align with that belief. You will make decisions, take actions, and interact with the world in a manner that reflects your belief. On the other hand, if you do not believe something is possible, you will unconsciously create resistance, which prevents the manifestation of your desires. This is why belief is so important. It removes the obstacles, both internal and external, that stand in the way of your goals. Belief is not a passive state of mind, it is a dynamic force. It is the energy behind your thoughts, the fire that fuels your desires. When you truly believe in something, you no longer need to question how or when it will happen. You know that it will. This certainty, this deep-rooted knowing, is what allows your desires to materialize. The world may not yet reflect your belief, but the more firmly you hold that belief, the more quickly it will manifest. The law of belief is unwavering. What you believe to be true becomes your reality. This law does not require proof, evidence, or external validation. All it requires is your unwavering belief. Consider for a moment the beliefs you hold about yourself and your life. How often do you doubt your ability to manifest your desires? How often do you second-guess your own worth or question the possibility of your dreams becoming a reality? These doubts are the very thing that prevent you from manifesting your desires. Doubt is the opposite of belief. It is the force that creates resistance and slows down the manifestation process. When you doubt, you are sending mixed signals to the universe, and this confusion causes your desires to be delayed or blocked entirely. The power of belief requires you to let go of all doubt and embrace the certainty that your desires are already on their way. The moment you let go of doubt and fully believe, you create a clear and focused pathway for your desires to manifest. It is as though you are giving the universe permission to deliver what you have already accepted as true. Belief in your desires is the invitation that allows them to come into your experience. You must believe it fully, without reservation, and you must persist in that belief, even when external circumstances seem to contradict it. Belief works in tandem with the law of assumption. To assume something is true is to believe it with absolute certainty. The more you assume the reality of your desire, the more you anchor that belief within your consciousness. The feeling of belief must be maintained at all times, for the universe responds to your dominant thoughts and emotions. If you believe your desire is already yours, the universe will begin to rearrange itself to bring that desire into manifestation. The moment you let go of doubt and truly accept your desire as a present reality, it begins to take form. It may not happen immediately, but the more you persist in your belief, the more rapidly it will unfold. It is crucial to understand that belief is not just an intellectual understanding, it is a visceral, emotional experience. To truly believe in something, you must feel it deeply within your being. It is the emotional charge that accompanies belief that gives it its creative power. You cannot simply say you believe, you must feel the belief as though it is already true. You must embody the belief in every cell of your body. When you do this, the energy you project is so powerful that it influences the very fabric of reality. Take, for example, a person who believes they are destined for success. This belief is not just something they think about in passing, it is a core belief that defines how they approach every situation, how they speak, how they act, and how they interact with others. Their belief in their own success is so strong that it shapes the opportunities they encounter, the people they meet, and the choices they make. Success does not come to them by chance, it comes because their belief in it is so firmly rooted that it guides every aspect of their life. Success is the natural result of their belief. Similarly, if you believe that you deserve love, abundance, health, or any other desire, that belief will shape your reality in the same way. The stronger your belief, the more rapidly your desires will come to you. Belief is not about effort or struggle, it is about acceptance and alignment with the truth of your desires. When you believe something with unwavering certainty, you are in alignment with the natural flow of creation. Your beliefs shape the world around you, and through your belief, the universe responds. The beauty of belief is that it does not require external validation or proof. You do not need to wait for the world to show you evidence of your desires before you believe they are possible. Belief works in the opposite direction. It is the belief that causes the evidence to appear. Your belief is the catalyst for creation. And it is only by fully embracing and trusting in that belief that you will see your desires materialize in the world around you. The moment you believe, you activate the power of manifestation, and the universe responds by bringing you the circumstances, people, and events that match your belief. The power of belief is the key to creating the life you desire. Every belief, every thought, every desire is energy, and the energy you send out into the world is always reflected back to you in one form or another. This is not a mystical idea, it is a natural law. You see, your mind operates like a powerful magnet, attracting circumstances, people, and events that are in harmony with the thoughts and beliefs you hold. The law of attraction is the simple but profound principle that like attracts like, and it operates in all areas of your life. What you think about most often, what you give emotional energy to, becomes the reality you experience. Therefore, to change your life, you must begin by changing your thoughts. It is critical to understand that your thoughts are not just fleeting mental occurrences, they are vibrational signals that ripple through the universe and attract experiences that match their frequency. Every time you think, you are sending out a vibration that draws situations and experiences that match that vibration. So if you constantly think about lack, about not having enough, or about obstacles, your thoughts will attract more of the same into your life. Conversely, if you focus on abundance, possibility, and success, you will draw experiences that align with these positive, empowering thoughts. This is the essence of the law of attraction. It is not about simply thinking positively for a moment, but aligning your entire being with the vibration of what you desire. The key to mastering this principle lies in your ability to control your thoughts and emotions. Thoughts are like seeds, and your emotions are the soil in which they grow. If you want to attract something specific into your life, you must begin by thinking thoughts that are aligned with that desire. But it is not enough to think about your desire abstractly, you must embody it emotionally. When you feel the joy, excitement, and gratitude, as though your desire has already been fulfilled, you are sending out a powerful signal to the universe, instructing it to bring you exactly what you are feeling. Emotions are the key to unlocking the full potential of the law of attraction. Thoughts without emotion are like seeds planted in dry soil; they will not grow. But when you water those thoughts with strong, positive emotion, they begin to take root and flourish, attracting the very things you desire. The reason why so many people struggle with manifesting their desires is because they are not consistent in their thinking and emotional alignment. They may think about their desire for a moment, feel good about it, and then allow doubt, fear, or negative emotions to take over. This inconsistency sends mixed signals to the universe, causing confusion in the manifestation process. The law of attraction works best when your thoughts and emotions are in alignment, when your entire being is focused on the feeling of having already received your desire. To do this, you must practice mental discipline. You must become aware of the thoughts that you allow to dominate your mind and consciously choose those thoughts that align with your desires. One of the most effective ways to use the law of attraction is to create a mental environment in which your desires already exist. This means filling your mind with thoughts and images that reflect the reality you wish to create. For example, if you want to attract financial abundance, imagine yourself living a life of wealth and ease. Visualize the experiences, the freedom, and the opportunities that would come with such abundance. But more importantly, feel the emotions of that life, feel the joy, the security, and the peace that would accompany financial freedom. This is not a mere fantasy or daydream, it is a mental and emotional alignment with the reality you wish to bring into your experience. When you practice this alignment regularly, you begin to shift your vibration, and the universe responds by bringing you the people, situations, and opportunities that match that vibration. The more you consistently focus on the positive aspects of your desire, the more quickly and effortlessly it will appear in your life. This process is not about forcing or manipulating events. It is about allowing the law of attraction to work naturally through your thoughts and emotions. By focusing on the feeling of having your desire, you align yourself with the vibrational frequency of that desire, and the universe begins to reflect it back to you. It is essential to remember that the law of attraction is always at work, whether you are consciously aware of it or not. Every thought, every belief, every emotion you experience sends out a signal that attracts corresponding events into your life. If you are constantly thinking about what you don't want or worrying about the future, you are sending out a vibration of fear and lack, and the law of attraction will bring you more of those experiences. On the other hand, if you consistently focus on what you want, if you immerse yourself in the emotions of having already received it, you will begin to attract the people, situations, and opportunities that align with those desires. The power of the law of attraction is that it works whether you are aware of it or not. You cannot escape it, and you cannot change the fact that it is always influencing your life. However, by becoming conscious of how it works, you can take control of your thoughts and emotions and begin to direct the flow of energy in your life. You are not a passive participant in this process, you are the creator. Your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs are the tools with which you shape your reality. The more intentional and focused you are with these tools, the more quickly and precisely your desires will manifest. This understanding should empower you because it shows you that you are in control. You do not need to wait for external circumstances to change in order for your desires to materialize. You can begin right now by changing your thoughts and emotions. It may take some practice, and you may encounter resistance from your mind, but persistence will pay off. The more you practice aligning your thoughts and emotions with your desires, the more natural it will become. You will find yourself effortlessly attracting the experiences you desire, and the law of attraction will work for you instead of against you. In every moment, you are sending out vibrations into the universe. Be mindful of what you are thinking and feeling, for these vibrations are the very forces that are shaping your life. Choose to focus on the things you want and align your emotions with the experience of having already received them. In doing so, you will activate the law of attraction in your favor, and the universe will begin to reflect your inner world back to you, bringing your desires into your physical experience. The present moment is the only true reality. It is where everything begins, where everything happens. It is where your power lies. Far too often, people spend their lives looking toward the future or dwelling on the past, and in doing so, they miss the profound opportunity of the present moment. The truth is that the future and the past are illusions. They do not exist in any tangible way. The only real time is now, and it is in the present moment that you create your reality. If you want to change your life, you must learn to live in the present moment with full awareness, for it is here that you plant the seeds of your desires. Most people are constantly thinking about what they want to achieve or what they have not yet accomplished. They live in a state of longing, of wanting something more or better, and in doing so, they keep their desires outside of their experience. They believe that they need to work harder, to wait longer, or to change their circumstances before they can have what they want. But this way of thinking keeps them stuck in a perpetual state of lack. The key to manifesting your desires is not about waiting for the future to unfold or trying to change the past. It is about living in the present moment as though your desires have already been fulfilled. When you live in the present moment, you free yourself from the constraints of time. You stop measuring your success or happiness based on what you have or don't have. Instead, you focus on the now, the only moment in which true creation takes place. In this moment, you have the power to choose how you feel, how you think, and what you believe. The future is merely a projection of your present thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. If you are constantly focused on the future, always thinking that happiness or success is something that will happen someday, you are delaying your experience of those things. You are denying yourself the joy and fulfillment that are already available to you in the present. The present moment is the point of power, and it is the only time in which you can act to change your reality. The key to manifesting your desires is not in trying to control the future or fix the past, but in aligning yourself with the present moment. This means feeling as though your desires are already realized right now. It means living in the state of your fulfilled wish, not as a future event, but as an immediate experience. When you feel the joy, satisfaction, and gratitude as though your desire is already fulfilled, you are tuning into the frequency of that desire, and the universe responds by bringing it into your experience. One of the most powerful ways to align with the present moment is through the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness is the art of being fully present and engaged with the current moment. It involves letting go of the distractions of the past and the future and focusing on what is happening right now. By practicing mindfulness, you can begin to cultivate a sense of peace and presence that allows you to connect with your desires in a deeper way. When you are mindful, you are not consumed by worry or doubt. You are not constantly thinking about what you need to do tomorrow or what happened yesterday. Instead, you are focused on the now, on the feeling of your desire already being realized. When you focus on the present moment, you naturally release resistance. Resistance is the internal struggle that arises when you believe your desire is not yet yours, when you feel you have to wait for something outside of you to change in order to feel good. Resistance comes from the belief that you are not enough or that your desires are not possible. But when you live in the present moment, as though your desire is already fulfilled, you eliminate that resistance. You stop chasing after what you want and instead simply allow it to come to you. The key to releasing resistance is to trust in the power of the present moment, to believe that everything you desire is already available to you right now. The practice of living in the present moment also involves surrendering the need to control the how and the when of your desires. Too often, people become fixated on how their desires will manifest or when they will appear. This focus on the details only creates stress and doubt. The present moment is about surrendering the need to control every aspect of the process and trusting that the universe will bring you what you need at the perfect time. When you are aligned with the present moment, You are not concerned with the how, because you know that it will unfold naturally. You are simply living in the feeling of your desire, trusting that it is already coming to you. When you focus on the present, you align your thoughts and emotions with your desires in a way that accelerates their manifestation. The law of attraction works by responding to your current vibration, which is determined by your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs in the present moment. If you are always focused on what is missing or what you don't yet have, you are sending out a vibration of lack and limitation. But when you live in the present moment, as though your desires are already fulfilled, you are sending out a vibration of abundance and fulfillment. This vibration attracts the circumstances, people, and opportunities that match it. The present moment is where all power lies. It is the place where your desires are realized, and it is the only place where true transformation can occur. If you want to manifest your desires quickly and effortlessly, you must learn to live in the now. This does not mean ignoring your goals or refusing to plan for the future. It means living fully in the present, knowing that everything you desire is already available to you in this moment. By embracing the power of the present moment, you align yourself with the flow of creation, and your desires will naturally manifest in your experience. The present moment is the key to unlocking the door to your desires. It is where you create, where you align your energy with the universe, and where your dreams become a reality. When you focus on the present and feel as though your desires are already fulfilled, you remove the barriers that stand in your way. You stop waiting for the perfect conditions and instead create those conditions through your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs in the now. The present moment is all that exists, and it is in this moment that you hold the power to transform your life. The future is created in the present, and the life you desire is available to you right now. The process of manifestation begins with the understanding that your imagination is not a mere fantasy. It is the creative force behind the reality you experience. Your imagination is the key to unlocking your desires, for it is the faculty that allows you to see and feel things that are not yet in your physical reality. Most people fail to realize the power of their imagination, often dismissing it as a daydreaming tool, something that has no real bearing on the external world. However, nothing could be further from the truth. Your imagination is the most powerful tool at your disposal, and it is through the vivid mental images you create that the seeds of your desires are sown. The secret to manifestation lies in your ability to use your imagination with focused intention. The moment you vividly imagine a desired outcome, you are sending a powerful signal to the universe that this is your desired reality. The more vividly you can see the desired outcome in your mind, the more real it becomes in your experience. It is not enough to simply wish for something, you must imagine it as though it is already a part of your life. When you use your imagination in this way, you create a mental image that corresponds with your desire. This image then becomes the blueprint for its manifestation in the physical world. Imagination is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. When you imagine something, you are tapping into a higher reality, one that transcends the physical limitations of time and space. Your imagination is a portal to a world of infinite possibilities, and by learning to use it deliberately, you can create anything you desire. The mind cannot distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. Therefore, when you imagine yourself living the life you want, your subconscious mind accepts that image as your new reality. As you continue to imagine and feel the reality of your desire, you begin to align yourself with the vibration of that desire, and the universe responds by bringing it into your experience. The process of manifestation through imagination is simple but profound. It begins with the act of assuming that your desire is already fulfilled. In other words, you must imagine the end result, not as something that will happen in the future, but as something that is already happening in the present. When you assume that your desire is already yours, you create an inner feeling of joy, satisfaction, and gratitude. This emotional alignment with your desire is the key to bringing it into physical form. You see, manifestation is not just about thinking about your desire, it's about feeling as though it has already been realized. One of the most important aspects of using imagination effectively is the ability to maintain your focus. The mind has a tendency to wander, and it is easy to become distracted by external circumstances, doubts, or negative thoughts. However, if you want to manifest your desires, you must learn to focus your imagination with intention and clarity. The clearer the image you create in your mind, the more powerful the manifestation will be. When you focus on your desire with unwavering attention, you send out a clear and strong signal to the universe, which will then respond by aligning the external world with that image. Imagination is also a tool for shifting your internal state. When you use your imagination to visualize your desired outcome, you are not only creating a mental image, but also generating the feelings and emotions that correspond to that image. This emotional state is crucial because it is the emotional energy that fuels the manifestation process. If you imagine your desire and feel the emotions of gratitude, excitement, and fulfillment, you are vibrating at the frequency of that desire. The more you can cultivate these positive emotions, the more rapidly your desire will manifest. The universe responds to the energy you emit, and when your energy is aligned with the vibration of your desire, it must come to you. It is essential to understand that imagination does not work in the way the logical mind expects it to. The logical mind wants proof, evidence, and certainty before it will believe in something. But imagination works differently. It requires you to let go of doubt and trust in the unseen. The process of manifestation through imagination is an act of faith, a belief that your desire is already yours, even though you cannot yet see it in physical form. This is why the most powerful manifestations come when you release all attachment to the how and when of the outcome. The moment you stop trying to figure out how your desire will manifest is the moment you allow it to unfold in the most harmonious and perfect way possible. Visualization is one of the most effective ways to harness the power of imagination. By vividly imagining the end result of your desire, you begin to impress that image upon your subconscious mind. The more you visualize, the more real it becomes, and the more your subconscious mind accepts it as your new reality. This process is not just about imagining the desire once or twice, it is about making it a daily practice. Every time you visualize, you are strengthening the belief in your subconscious that your desire is already a part of your life. Visualization creates a powerful mental image that aligns with your desired outcome, and this image becomes the foundation for its manifestation. In addition to visualization, it is helpful to incorporate the power of affirmation into your imaginative practices. Affirmations are positive statements that reflect the reality you wish to create. When you repeat these affirmations while deeply immersing yourself in the emotions of your desired outcome, you reinforce the mental image and send out a powerful signal of belief and expectation. Affirmations help to eliminate doubt and resistance, replacing them with certainty and faith in the process. The process of manifestation through imagination requires patience and persistence. It is not always instantaneous, and the results may not always be immediately visible. However, the more you practice using your imagination in alignment with your desires, the more quickly you will begin to notice subtle shifts in your reality. The universe is always responding to the energy you send out. And as you continue to imagine and feel the fulfillment of your desires, you will begin to see those desires materialize in your physical experience. Imagination is the key to creating your reality. It is through the power of vivid, focused imagination that you shape your world and bring your desires into being. When you use your imagination with clarity, intention, and emotional alignment, you activate the law of attraction and set in motion the events that will bring your desires into your life. By embracing the power of your imagination, you become the conscious creator of your reality, able to manifest anything you desire with ease and grace. To achieve success in any area of life, you must first come to understand one profound truth. You are the creator of your experience. The The world around you does not dictate your circumstances. Rather, it is your beliefs, your thoughts, and your feelings that shape and mold your reality. Once you accept that you are the creator of your experience, you unlock an incredible power within you, the power to change your life by changing your thoughts. Your internal world is what determines the conditions of your external world. If you want to manifest your desires, you must begin by aligning your thoughts with what you wish to experience. This is a critical understanding because most people go through life reacting to external conditions. They feel powerless in the face of challenges and believe that circumstances control their fate. However, the truth is that you have the ability to change your life by changing the way you think. Your thoughts are the seeds that plant the reality you experience. When you change your internal dialogue and focus on what you want rather than what you don't want, you shift the vibration that you are sending out into the universe. This shift in vibration then attracts the circumstances and opportunities that align with your new thought patterns. The process begins with your thoughts because thoughts are energy. Every thought you think emits a vibrational frequency that influences the energy around you. This energy is like a magnet, drawing similar energy back to you. If you consistently think positive, empowering thoughts, you are sending out a signal to the universe that matches the vibration of your desires. The law of attraction is simple like a track slide. When you focus on what you want and think thoughts that support that desire, you send out an energetic signal that attracts experiences, people, and opportunities that match that signal. One of the keys to manifestation is understanding that the universe is always responding to your thoughts. You may not see immediate results, but the universe is always aligning with the energy you are putting out. It is important to remember that the energy you send out is not just in your conscious thoughts, it is also in your emotions and beliefs. If you have a desire but simultaneously feel doubt or fear, you are sending mixed signals to the universe. This confusion slows down the manifestation process. To accelerate manifestation, you must align your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs with the reality you wish to create. The idea of manifestation is not just about thinking positive thoughts and hoping for the best. It requires a deep emotional connection to your desires. You cannot simply think about something once and expect it to appear. You must imagine and feel the experience of already having what you want. This emotional connection is what powers the manifestation process. Feel the excitement, the gratitude, the joy of already living your desired reality. The stronger the emotional energy you put behind your thoughts, the more quickly and powerfully your desires will begin to materialize. Emotion is the key to turning thought into reality. In order to create your desired reality, you must also cultivate unwavering belief. This is where most people face challenges. They may think about their desires, but they are filled with doubt and skepticism. They wonder if it is really possible for them to have what they want, or they question how it could possibly happen. This doubt prevents the energy from flowing freely and delays manifestation. To manifest quickly and easily, you must believe that your desires are already on their way to you. When you align your thoughts with unwavering belief, you remove all resistance and create a clear path for your desires to enter your life. One of the most powerful tools to help you strengthen your belief is the practice of affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements that you repeat to yourself, asserting that your desire has already been fulfilled. These statements should be in the present tense, as though your desire is already part of your reality. For example, if you want to attract financial abundance, you might affirm, "I am abundant and money flows to me easily and effortlessly." By repeating these affirmations with conviction, you are reprogramming your subconscious mind to accept this new reality as true. This shifts your internal beliefs and aligns your energy with the frequency of abundance. The more you affirm these truths, the more they become your reality. Visualization is another powerful tool that works hand in hand with affirmations. When you visualize your desired outcome, you are creating a mental image that sends a clear message to your subconscious mind. Visualization allows you to experience your desire in the present moment. even before it manifests in physical form. By vividly imagining yourself living the life you want, you begin to embody the emotions associated with that life. These emotions, in turn, strengthen the vibrational frequency that you are sending out, aligning your internal world with the external reality you wish to create. It is also important to practice gratitude as a means of reinforcing your belief and emotional connection to your desires. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrational emotions you can experience. When you feel grateful for the things you have and the things you are about to receive, you send out a signal of abundance and positivity. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, reinforcing the belief that you are worthy of receiving everything you desire. By practicing gratitude every day, you create a mindset of abundance, which attracts more of what you want into your life. In addition to these tools, it is essential to maintain a mindset of detachment. While it is important to believe in your desires and take inspired action toward them, you must also release any attachment to the outcome. Attachment to a specific outcome often comes from a place of fear or desperation, which creates resistance and blocks the flow of energy. When you detach from the how and when of your desires, you allow the universe to work its magic. You trust that everything is unfolding perfectly, even if you cannot yet see the results. The moment you release the need to control the outcome, you open the door for your desires to come to you in the most unexpected and perfect ways. You are the creator of your experience, and by consciously choosing the thoughts you think, the beliefs you hold, and the emotions you feel, you can shape your reality. By aligning your internal world with the reality you wish to create, you send out a clear and powerful signal to the universe, attracting the people, opportunities, and circumstances that match your desires. Through the power of focused intention, belief, and emotional connection, you can manifest anything you want. The law of attraction is always working in your favor, and when you master the art of alignment, your desires will flow to you effortlessly. When you begin to truly understand the power within you, the most transformative realization is that you are not at the mercy of external circumstances. The world around you is a reflection of your inner state of being, and it is your thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions that shape the experiences you encounter. Every experience, event, and person you attract into your life is a mirror of your inner world. This understanding opens the door to an entirely new way of living, one in which you recognize that everything you need to change your reality is already within you. Your outer world cannot change until you change your inner world, for it is your thoughts that direct the course of your life. If you wish to see the changes you desire, you must start by transforming your inner landscape. It begins with the realization that you are constantly creating your reality through your assumptions. An assumption is a belief that you hold about yourself or the world around you, and it is from these assumptions that all experiences are born. What you assume to be true about yourself, others, and life in general is reflected in the conditions of your experience. If you assume that life is full of struggle, that opportunities are limited, or that people do not treat you with respect, these assumptions will continue to shape your world in that image. But on the flip side, if you begin to assume that success, love, and abundance are your natural states, your experiences will begin to reflect those assumptions. One of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal is the ability to change your assumptions. The beauty of this truth is that it does not matter what your current circumstances are, your power lies in your ability to choose new assumptions. When you consciously choose to assume that you are worthy of love, success, and happiness, you shift the vibration you are sending out into the world. This new vibration then attracts people, events, and opportunities that match this belief. The moment you change your assumptions, you are aligning yourself with the frequency of the life you want to experience. Your assumptions become the foundation upon which your reality is built. One of the greatest obstacles to manifesting your desires is the tendency to hold on to limiting beliefs. These beliefs are often formed from past experiences, societal conditioning, or fear, and they can create a mental framework that limits your potential. For example, you may have been taught that money is hard to come by, that you have to work endlessly for success, or that you must struggle in order to achieve happiness. These limiting beliefs create a cycle of lack and limitation that keeps you from stepping into your full power. The key to breaking this cycle is to recognize that these beliefs are not truths, they are simply assumptions that you have accepted as reality. And just as easily as you adopted them, you can choose to replace them with new, empowering assumptions that align with the life you wish to create. To change your assumptions, you must first become aware of the thoughts and beliefs that are guiding your life. This requires honest self-reflection and a willingness to challenge the status quo. When you find yourself thinking negative or limiting thoughts, pause and ask yourself, is this belief serving me? Is this assumption supporting the reality I want to create? If the answer is no, you have the power to choose a new thought, a new belief, and a new assumption. This is where the real work begins, the conscious choice to assume the best, to assume that everything is working out in your favor, to assume that success, love, and abundance are your natural states. As you begin to consciously choose new assumptions, it is important to reinforce them with your emotions. Your emotions are the energetic charge that fuels your assumptions and brings them into manifestation. It is not enough to simply think new thoughts, you must also feel them as true. When you assume that something wonderful is about to happen, allow yourself to feel the excitement, gratitude, and joy of that assumption as though it is already happening. This emotional alignment is what activates the law of attraction and brings your assumptions into physical reality. The more real and vivid you make the feeling, the more quickly and powerfully your new assumptions will manifest in your experience. It is also important to remember that your assumptions do not need to be based on any evidence in the external world. In fact, it is often the absence of evidence that requires the most faith. This is the key to creating change, by assuming the reality you desire before any external evidence confirms it. When you assume something to be true, even if you cannot see any proof of it in the moment, you are planting a seed in your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind does not differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. Therefore, by assuming the desired outcome and feeling the emotions associated with it, you impress your subconscious mind with that assumption, and the universe begins to bring you experiences that reflect it. One of the most powerful ways to reinforce your assumptions is through visualization. When you vividly imagine yourself living your desired life, you create a mental image that sends a clear signal to your subconscious mind. As you imagine and feel the emotions of your desired outcome, you are not just wishing for something to happen, you are assuming that it is already happening. Visualization serves as a tool to anchor your assumptions in the present moment, allowing you to feel as though your desire is already fulfilled. The more vividly you can visualize, the more powerful your assumption becomes, and the faster it will begin to manifest in your physical reality. It is also essential to practice patience and trust in the process. The moment you assume a new reality, the wheels of creation begin to turn. However, the manifestation process may not always be immediate. It requires faith and patience to allow your assumptions to take root and unfold. Trust that everything is unfolding perfectly, even if you cannot yet see the results in your physical world. The more you trust and believe in your assumptions, the faster they will materialize. The power of assumptions lies in their ability to shape your reality. When you consciously choose to assume the best, when you release limiting beliefs and replace them with empowering ones, you begin to change your world. Your assumptions become the blueprint for your experiences. And the more you focus on your desired reality, the more it will be reflected in your external circumstances. Remember, you are not a victim of your circumstances, you are the creator of your life. Your assumptions are the key to unlocking the life you desire. Choose wisely, feel deeply, and trust that your desires are already on their way to you. In conclusion, the power to shape your reality lies within you. By understanding that your thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions are the driving forces behind your experiences, you open the door to limitless possibilities. Each keynote we've explored underscores the simple yet profound truth: you are the creator of your life. The external world mirrors your internal state, and by consciously directing your thoughts and emotions, you can manifest your desires with ease and grace. Manifestation is not a passive process, it is an active creation of your reality. It requires a deep belief in your own power, the willingness to shift your mindset, and the practice of assuming the best in every situation. Through visualization, affirmation, and emotional alignment, you harness the immense creative power of your mind. It is through this conscious choice to believe in the possibility of what you desire, regardless of external circumstances, that you allow those desires to take form in your life. As you move forward, remember that you are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the architect of your experiences, and by choosing your thoughts with intention, you can transform your reality. The key to manifestation lies in your ability to trust the process, maintain unwavering belief, and feel the emotions of your desires as though they are already fulfilled. By doing so, you align yourself with the universe and create a life that reflects your deepest aspirations. Your journey of manifestation begins now. With each thought, belief, and assumption you hold, you are shaping the life you are meant to live. Trust in your power, embrace the process, and watch as the life you have always dreamed of unfolds before you. The world is yours to create.